I've been with my husband, Michael, almost 50 years now. But giving you a number isn't ever the whole picture, is it? So we met in 1978. For most of the next decade, I had a constant conversation with myself. As these inner conversations usually are, it was horribly predictable and always the same. I would see myself talking to Michael, telling him all the things he did wrong, feeling quite confident that I was right in each one. Why couldn't he do things more like me? It was so much easier and faster and smarter. And that this, I would tell him, the two of us, it wasn't working for me. I would tell him this in my head, and I was leaving. I would see his face, I would hear his comments back, and I would answer with perfectly logical and very justifiable answers. And I would think things like, why can't he be nicer to me? Why can't he do it my way? I always thought I would be with a different kind of guy. And it would always end with righteousness on my side, of course. But then I never left him. And this went on for years. I heard myself having this conversation at night while we were having dinner, driving to work. I was a broken record inside my own mind, same territory over and over and over again, but I didn't stop. I was mad and I was critical all the time inside of me. And of course, it leaked out. It really leaked out. But I still never left. And he never changed. And I never saw the error of my ways, what I was doing wrong, because really everything I said, it was justified. But deep inside, I knew I wasn't sure about leaving him, despite the 24/7 rehearsal in my head that I now knew by heart. At first, I was full to bursting with this horrible feeling at being always, always, always annoyed at the man I loved. And I asked my women friends for input. I hated what they fed back to me. They were only taking one side of a very complex situation between us and also inside me. And their simplifying of it and taking my side made me simplifying of it and their commiserating with me had the opposite effect. Then when they would commiserate with me, I always wanted to take his side. They got so frustrated with me. Oh, I knew I was only presenting one side of the story with them. And of course they would side with me. They loved me. I somehow knew that there must be other parts of him that I wasn't seeing. But I never said that to myself. I never really looked at it to see what I could learn. I was stubborn in my rut of mental divorcing and feeling he was wrong. And yet, I loved him. I couldn't find the love in my heart most of the time, but I knew it had to be there. And living like this every day drew lines on my face. It hardened me. I felt my back stiffen no matter what he was or wasn't doing. These were the things that were happening to me. I didn't trust anyone to work with me about this, no therapist for sure, because I was certain they would take my side, and I didn't want anyone to take my side. I didn't want them to push me to leave or tell me I was right and ask why I was staying. This was a conversation that had to be had with me and me, and no one was going to sway me. So the conversation continued until I knew all the lines, his and mine, and of course, nothing changed. So after a decade of this, without budging, I discovered a process that taught me how to see things literally through Michael's eyes. I saw through his eyes, I see him standing at the threshold of our house, about to enter. And I literally went inside him and literally, physically looked through his eyes. I didn't think about what he might see, what he would see. I didn't assume I knew. I didn't use my conscious, quote, logical mind at all. And what I saw shook my bones, stopped my heart, and froze my veins. I could feel him hesitate, gird his loins, prepare himself to enter a battlefield that was our home. All of his softness, his humor, his easygoing nature, they all got locked away before he turned the knob. Those parts of him weren't safe. As he entered the door, I saw through his eyes, bolts of electricity coursing through the living room, angry red spots around the house, me looking grumpy, mad, and tight. His face grimaced, like he could smell something off in the house and didn't like it at all. Oh my goodness. This was my husband entering our home, and I knew to my core that this was true. It was his experience, and the veils left my own eyes. My heart opened to him, to our marriage, and to me. And I vowed that whatever part of creating that battlefield belonged to me, I would change. The fact that I had helped create that scene shook me out of my stupor. Of course, it wasn't just his fault, nor was it all my fault. But I did have a real part, and I couldn't ignore that anymore. I knew it in my cells. I had two choices. I could keep divorcing him in my head, proving I'm right, or change my part of what I'm creating at the door. And I'm going to say that again. I had two choices. Keep divorcing him in my head, proving I'm right, or change my part of what I was creating at the door.